Welcome to season 2.
Welcome to season 2, the bigger, badder, sexier, more racist season of Public Figures podcast. So I was just talking with Johnny Ryan about how
much
after
movies.
after my experience with doing Crossed in the summertime, it was very, very difficult for me to watch a movie and not just feel like angry and frustrated. If I saw a bad movie, I'd be like, fuck this. And if I saw a good movie, I'd be like jealous, I'll let you audience members draw your own conclusions from that. It's not done yet, by the way, if anyone's looking for some sort of update. We're still fucking working on finishing it. And then also, Johnny Ryan has got to live his dream, got to go around the country and talk with audiences and talk about himself. This guy loves talking about himself. He loves to go on stage and tell everybody about his process and stuff like that. But you know what? We all do. That's why we get into this business, because we're all egomaniacs, and we all want people to know about us because we feel like we're important people. Guilty as charged, I must say. You had, I remember I saw that a thing where you were on stage with what was the guy's name? Was it Daniel Klaus?
Who? Daniel Klaus?
Was that you were on stage with?
It was Peter Bagg in Seattle.
Peter Bagg, my bad. Hate comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? I never saw any video from that.
It was good. I mean, it was. It was fine. Like all these little Q&As are they're extremely brief, and they're not as informative as you probably would imagine. But it's cool, just sort of like getting the word out and meeting the fans.
Yeah, taking your picture in front of those walls with all the logos all over them and stuff.
Sure, I love logos.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big logo aficionado. I was going to also say how's the reaction, the reception of the Fuck My Son? I guess we're kind of like, it's cooling off at this point. It was a lot hotter before, making a real splash on the festival scene. That's
how everything is.
I know.
Come in hot and then you slowly die.
What I mean to say is just that it is absolutely normal that it's cooled off a bit, because it's been out for like a while now, like a few months.
It's also like Todd, the director, his process. He's doing it all by himself, so he's literally taking it to one theater a week. And distributing the thing by himself.
The roadshow model.
The roadshow model, and so I think it's going to be in Ojai next week, Ojai, California. I'll be at that one on Friday. It's supposed to be at the Los Feliz Theater next week too, here in Los Angeles. So it's a fairly slow rollout, it's just like from one city to the next city. It's not a normal rollout. It's not like what you would think would be like a normal movie being released and people going to see it in a normal way.
I think that model, I was talking about this with my friend the other day, and I was thinking that model is actually like probably like where things are going for like independent films, like especially with just sort of the vice grip kind of monopoly that's happening with any other kind of like mainstream distribution, like or not even mainstream, just like I guess when I say mainstream distribution, that's what I mean. But like, if you're making an independent film, especially one that's like, what's the word? Transgressive, I guess.
Right.
Doing it this way is probably like kind of the, it's almost treating it like a play or something, like a traveling
Right.
production.
Well,
a road
like
show.
you said, like a road show.
Yeah.
And also Todd has no plans to, at least at this moment of recording, he has no plans to stream it. And he has no plans to put it on any kind of physical
media.
So
Yeah, no,
so that I think like adds to the sort of roadshow event. Like if you're going to see the movie, this is the only way to see it. You got to go to these, sort of independent theaters, and that's currently the only way to watch it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I can only imagine that at the end of this process, he's going to put it out like on whatever Severin or Vinegar Syndrome or something like that. Like that. Like
I'm not against any of those things. I'm not the purist that Todd is. If you want to call.
Oh, really?
Him that.
Is that because that just seems like the sort of the end of the road? That's kind of like, like at the.
I mean, last time I spoke to him about it, he was just like, "There's going to be like as soon as the theaters are all like dried out and nobody wants to show it anymore, then he claims I'm just going to shelve it, and maybe like like I don't know if you remember, but when I was a kid, Disney wasn't really putting out many films. But they would put out old film. They wouldn't put out new films, but they put out old, like they bring out like, oh, we're going to dust off Pinocchio and we're going to bring that back out.
We're going to bring it out of the Disney vault.
Yeah, we're going to bring out Peter Pan. We're going to dust that off, bring it out for like, and that's what Disney was when I was a kid. There really wasn't any new animated Disney films. And I think that's kind of what that's his plan. Is he's going to like put it away, and then in a couple of years, when the next generation comes up, he's going to put it out again. I guess I don't know.
He's going to be an old ass man. He's going to be like fucking like 70 years old, going around being like.
Walt was pretty old too.
But he had other people that were helping him out. Well, God bless him. Good luck to old Todd Rohal for being such a.
I mean, it's
cinema purist.
If I could think of one good thing to say about him, he does like he did all this all on his own. Like, I mean, he had help, but he's like he sort of spearheaded this all by himself. Like he wrote it, he put together the team, he got the money together, he shot it, he edited the whole thing. So this is like pure independent cinema. And we were talking earlier, like we were complaining about union shit, and because the budget was low, there was no union issues that we had to deal with. So it was pure independent movies.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I guess like it was shot in Austin, right?
Yeah.
That helps as well. Like shooting in LA, even if it's low budget, I think you still get poked.
And also he had like a team. He had a team of people that worked with him for him that like clearly they all knew him and they all worked with him before. So I think that's sort of important too. Is like having that reliable team of filmmakers working alongside you, who they're familiar with you, them, and I mean, I feel like whether it's film or television, like creating those relationships is vital.
Oh, it's absolutely vital. The sadness was sort of a lightning in a bottle situation where I was working with a producer that I had worked with in the past and that I liked working with, just on little things like little shitty commercials and stuff. And then I got paired with a cinematographer that I didn't know, but I ended up getting along very well with him. And, I was like, okay, Crossed is coming around. Let's just fucking get the band back together and just work with the team that created the Sadness. Like if you want something like the Sadness, then we just bring the same people back together. It's not just me. It's never just one person. Mm-hmm. Our higher ups were like, no, we know how to make it better. And these guys are, just gambler types. So they kind of look at things like, they think of things like along the lines of like drafting a fucking NBA team or something, where it's just kind of like, oh, you just get these guys all do the same thing, so you just plug in guys. It's like they don't understand that it's you're not just trying to put a fucking ball in a hoop. You're trying to create a piece of art, and I think they figured that out. But they figured it out, but like at a cost.
Sure.
At a dire cost. But anyways, yeah, like it was very difficult for me to really enjoy a movie for a long time, as I said before. But a film that kind of made me actually put down my phone and fucking
reignited your interest in cinema was Bitter Moon.
That is entirely true. That is entirely true. I don't know what it was, but I just was grabbed by this movie, and I just sat there, and I was just like, okay. And I remember why I like these things again. It's not like. It's a Roman Polanski film, so I mean, there's a certain kind of level of.
Should we like introduce like, oh, we're going to talk about Bitter Moon, the 1990
movie
1992 Roman Polanski. It was 92 or 93, something like that. It's before Hugh Grant got in trouble with Divine Brown.
Right. It's definitely before that. It's before the.
Which is funny in the context of the movie, because the movie's very, very hypersexual, and he's like a real uptight prig in the movie. But
he's always that guy.
But in now you watch that movie and you see like this guy was like whoring around L.A. like for for years.
Was like Divine Brown was a real woman though, right?
What do you mean?
Like it wasn't like Eddie Murphy where it was
AI.
trans.
No, it was a woman. She actually did. Yeah. She had a porno, like a brief porno career after her sudden fame.
Really? Let me look at that up. Let me watch some.
I think
porn.
so. Because let me watch some porn. Yeah, just watch it. That'd be a good double feature: Bitter Moon and Divine Brown's porno.
Estella Marie Thompson, also known as Divine Brown. Let's see here. Yes, I am 18 or older. Hey, that's not Divine Brown. Okay, well, we're going to have to look at this later.
Jerry Brown.
So, okay, so 1992, Roman Polanski. This came out before. What's that movie that he did with Harrison Ford, where it's also in Paris?
I know what you're talking about. But I never thought of
Fall Away, Harris.
Fractured.
Yeah,
I was so close. I never saw that one, but I saw The Ninth Gate.
Oh no, it's not called. It's called Frantic. My bad, everybody. Frantic. It's called Frantic. And you know what? It's fucking before this one. He made Frantic in 1988. So my bad.
Okay, I never saw Frantic.
Goddamn.
When did he make The Ninth Gate? Ninth Gate is after this or before this?
Ninth Gate is after this, like at least 5 years after this.
Okay, because I think it has the same. It has the same woman in it.
Ninth Gate. Yeah, it was made in 1999. It's got the same woman, which is his like
wife,
common law wife, I guess, Emmanuelle Senior. I don't know how to pronounce that. Emmanuel Senier, and Johnny Depp in The Ninth Gate. Okay, fuck. We're talking about Bitter Moon here. So I don't know. I guess we should talk about maybe the story, the plot of this movie. It's based on a novel, I guess, by some French author, and it's about kind of it's like, I guess you would call it like an erotic romantic thriller, or maybe just a drama. No one's really
there's not a lot of thrills. It's mostly.
Right.
It's just a real heavy sexual melodrama.
Yeah, that's about right. It's a romantic, erotic
I don't even know there's
melodrama.
romance in it. It's just like a sexual melodrama.
Well, you know what, Johnny? I thought that the first quarter of the film was very romantic. I thought, yeah, like that bit.
I guess
that
that's
bit
true.
where she's on the bus and stuff, and she's in that cute red dress, and he gives her the
well, let me
bus
ask you this:
ticket.
what did you think of her?
I was enchanted by her.
Really,
I liked her.
Okay,
Yeah, I liked her. I think she's adorable, to be honest.
that might be where we differ.
I mean, she does like that.
Like, because it's clear, like, Roman Polanski is completely enamored with her,
Right.
and I'm not saying that she's not an attractive woman, but there's just something about her that she's no Sharon Tate. Let's just say that there's something slightly
Alive.
ungraceful about her. She dances poorly. She just seems sometimes she seems a little dumb.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's
In some angles she looks slightly mannish.
Oh, that you're being so what's the word, like
Rude.
overly critical, you know? Like,
Maybe, but I mean, we have to look at her. And the Bitter Moon is a fucking long movie. It's like 2.5 hours, which is
it?
It's really fucking long. I'm going to say 220 at least.
Let's take a look.
And for what it is, it doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah, it's 220. You're right, or 219 anyhow.
Like
Excuse me.
2 hours would have been more than enough. But this is
well. I think that the whole, like, the framing device of the cruise ship is sort of not that like, that's not the most interesting part of this whole thing. Like, I guess, like, you know, I guess it kind of factors into the experience of the film to some degree, but like all the interesting stuff happens like within the flashback. Let's just talk about the
I guess the cruise ship plays a role of, like, we're trapped on a cruise ship, and this Hugh Grant and his wife are passengers on the cruise ship, and they're going to India to have their minds expanded with yoga or something. And then they
street food.
And first they meet the woman, and she's like seasick. And then Hugh Grant is clearly enchanted with her. And then they meet her husband, played by Peter Coyote, the guy that killed E.T., and also the voice of many Ken Burns documentaries.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then he's completely, he's paralyzed. His legs don't work. And it's sort of like this Ancient Mariner thing where he grabs Hugh Grant and he's like, I'm going to tell you this story of, you know, that woman that you're enchanted with. That's my wife. And
you like her, don't you?
You want to fuck her, don't you? Well, let me tell you a little story that might change your mind or whatever. I don't know. So then we hear 2 hours of their romance.
Yeah, but I mean, what if the movie was just like, I had just gotten to Paris, you know, like if it started with just like this Peter Coyote's like, you know, he's a sort of a loser.
Well, what's interesting is like he seems to be playing a character that should be probably 20 years younger than he is. Like I think in the movie he's like almost 60, but the way he's living his life with like the Hemingway pictures on his wall and dreams of being a writer, like
he's
acting like he's probably like 30.
He's 30, like 37 in the film, or when he first meets Emmanuel Signier, he's probably like 35, because when they have the spoiler, when they have the pregnancy news, he says in dialogue, I don't want to have a baby. I'm pushing 40 and no one knows my name yet.
In real life, so he's probably like 60.
I mean, I really,
and he looks it too. That's the thing. Like he looks old. You're right. He does look old. He doesn't look good. And the fact that, you know, okay, so they have this, I should say overall too, that like I was definitely like engaged in the movie the entire time. Like I was completely like, where is this going?
Sure.
It's very well done. As like the story is compelling.
He's 50. He was 50 years old. He was playing 10 or 15 years younger in. But I guess you have to do that because he has like the old character. Like when he's in the wheelchair, like when on the cruise ship, it's supposed to be he's supposed to be a little bit older, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, so they've split the difference. Sorry, Ben, I cut you off. Keep going.
Oh, well, I don't remember what I was saying. But anyway, so we follow the Peter Coyote and Mrs. Polanski through their ups and downs of their like wild, highly like sexually charged relationship where like they're just doing everything, they're pissing on each other and and they're dressing like pigs and farmers and playing all like it's very 90s in sort of like that sort of 90s in your face sexuality, like very kind of like what's that Mickey Rourke 9.5 Weeks, or like it's kind of like of that ilk of film.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's another similar movie around that time that was kind of like a very like very sexual movie.
I always think of like the remake of The Getaway with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger.
I never saw that one.
Okay, that was like a sort of a shockingly sexual movie.
Okay.
They really amped up the sex in that movie. There's a lot of fucking in that movie, and that's what I always think of like when I think of like you know, sort of the, you know, like sort of post Reservoir Dogs kind of shift in films in the early 90s where things started to get like a little like more wild. We shouldn't rush past, like what I like about the movie is sort of like the progression, because you sort of said, oh yeah, they get together and then they just have this crazy sexual thing, but that's actually not. It starts out a lot sweeter than that, and then the whole point, as far as I understand it, is that he starts like to sort of.
Oh, good.
Go on. Okay.
I was going to say, I feel like they get pretty quick to when he sort of tells he confronts Hugh Grant with his glorious piss story.
He does.
Like, I think that happens like literally like 20 minutes into the movie.
Right, but there is like a point or something to be said about it, because it starts off fairly sweet, like that first date that they go on, and then and he's microwaving like old fucking croissants in the fucking microwave, like he's
Blowing
a very
on her feet.
He's very like he lives in this sort of a shitty, like you can tell the kind of apartment he's in, like this sort of shitty apartment, and like probably has like an uneven, like warped like floor or whatever, and like and he's not rich at all. I guess he's living off of like a trust fund or something like that. I don't
think he's doing too bad, because there's long stretches of time where he's not doing really anything, but he's going to the clubs, and he doesn't seem to be. There's never a point in the movie where he's kind of like, uh-oh, I got to pay the bill, I got to pay the rent.
Yeah, that's they say very early on, and it's easy to miss too. But he says that he inherited, he's essentially living off of a trust fund. I mean, he seems like he's. I'm going to say he's well off. Like, at least well off enough that he doesn't really have to work. He's able to focus completely on his shitty novels, and at the end of the movie, he's fucking taking a cruise around the world. So I don't really get the sense that he's ever strapped for cash. Well, I guess I'm not saying my point about his apartment isn't so much about his financial situation. It's just more about his lifestyle. Like he lives like a college student or something like that. Like his apartment reminds me of a place.
That's kind of what my point was earlier, was that like his apartment, what he's doing, like writing, and his apartment, and his sort of like idealistic feeling towards Paris, like it feels like somebody who should be a lot younger than he is.
Right.
And look a lot younger than he is. It feels a little strange. Like, I still was like along for the ride, but I wasn't 100% buying like, oh, this guy, he's living this sort of Carrie Bradshaw life in Paris.
Yeah. Maybe it should have been cast. Maybe it should have been cast younger. But like, I don't know. I still buy. Like, I like the idea of sort of this old gross dude, like who's sort of like Arrested Development type situation, where he's just kind of like, because I mean, I encounter. I think a lot of this sort of. I related to a lot of things about this movie too, like in my own life, like moving to like a different country. And like there's a part in the film where like they fight over, she's like, oh, I didn't know you're so delicate, and he's like, that's not the right word, and she's if you can't say it in English, just say it in French. It's like, your French isn't good enough, and it's like, you've lived here for so long, how come your French isn't better? Like that's definitely an argument that I've gotten into with girls here, about like, how come you can't speak Chinese better, et cetera. But so like, I mean, there are little things here and there where I kind of relate to him, not least of which being like sort of an Arrested Development sort of quality in my own life that I can't help but see. But
the piss, all the piss stuff too.
All the how I piss in my own mouth. But
the shiny, glistening clitoris.
Yeah, like a duck in a pink little pond. But let me get to my goddamn point. I was trying to say that it starts out very sweet, like, oh, can I make a fire? Sure, they make a little fire. They're eating like kind of, old fucking croissants and a bottle of wine. Like it's very, college studenty, regardless of like this guy being in his 50s, sure. 51 to be exact, during the shoot. But then like what happens is that like he kind of grows. He doesn't really have a whole lot to talk with her about, because he's not being appreciated the way that he wants to be appreciated. Like there's a part where he's, she's reading one of his novels, and she's like, "Have you really been with all of these women?" And he's like, "What does it matter? Like, I mean, do you like it or not?" And she's like, "Oh, I like it. Well, what? Yeah, And you're starting to see sort of like the
cracks,
the beginnings of impatience. He starts to say, "Well, what do you think of the quality of the writing?" And she's like, "I don't know. My English isn't good enough." He's like, "Well, then why bother reading the fucking thing at all?" And then he realizes that he kind of wants sort of a literary intellectual partner.
Well, he's not a likable guy. He's an interesting guy. I mean, to some degree, like interesting enough that you're compelled to sort of hear his story. But I never fully, like, if I was Hugh Grant, because Hugh Grant keeps that's part of the story, is that Hugh Grant, he's sort of telling the story to Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant keeps coming back to Peter Coyote's cabin to hear the story. And I feel like if I was Hugh Grant, I probably, like, after that first chapter, I don't think I would go back to hear the second chapter.
Yeah.
But Hugh Grant is compelled to do that because for some reason
he wants to fuck the wife.
He wants to fuck the wife, but he's also, and he also wants to hear as much information about her as possible. But yeah, I don't think I was, like, if I was in that position, I don't know if I would have been like, these people are gross.
Weird. Yeah. Well, okay. So back to the story, like, what Peter Coyote resolves, or what he decides to do, is he's okay. Well, maybe it's okay that I'm not able to connect with her on this sort of, literary level. She's an artist. She's a dancer, I guess. That's cool. She does that. That's not really what I do, but how we connect. We connect on sort of a more like a emotional level, like less sort of cerebral. We're more we connect more like sexually and emotionally.
It's only really sexually. Like, it seems like their only connection is sexual. Like, what else do they connect on besides just pure sexuality? I'm talking from his perspective. Like, he's like, oh, I feel in love with this woman. I feel like I'm in love with her. She's the one, like I'm just head over heels in love with this lady. Mimi, I think is her name in the movie. And Oscar is the name of the guy. Roman Polanski's wife is Mimi. Anyways, so then he just thinks, okay, well then I'll just kind of double down on that, and we'll just kind of like have sex a lot. But then he kind of grows tired of her, like a little bit. And then there's that part where they're watching TV, and he's just kind of, that's back in 1992, watching TV with your partner is like the equivalent of like just kind of, laying in bed and both scrolling on your respective phones or something. Like, just kind of, you're in the same room, but you're just kind of not engaged at all. And it's just a way to kind of pass the time with someone that you don't really, feel all that connected to. Like, you're not anything but to talk to this person. That's how they treat the TV, the old idiot box, But then Mimi gets up and takes a piss on the TV. And Peter Coyote gets under we don't see this. This is just told via a story, and then he ends up crawling underneath her, and then he ends up getting pissed on by her, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is awesome. I love getting pissed on." So then they go to there's a scene where they go to like a sex store and they buy like a bunch of like fucking dildos and lubes and whatever contraptions and stuff, and then they just like they're just kind of going as far as they can with their sexual adventures.
And then, it's spoken in dialogue like, we'd spend, weeks on end just in the house, not doing anything but just having sex all the time. And then he kind of exhausts. So the first thing he does is he kind of exhausts kind of like what they can talk about and how much he can involve her in his writerly pursuits. Okay, this only goes this far. Okay, well, how about sex? Then he goes and he just exhausts that avenue as well. And then, he's sort of grown tired of her sexually. And that's when, and there's that fucking bizarre part where she's drinking like yogurt out of a bottle and she starts spinning it all over herself. And he's like, oh my God, this is the most erotic thing I've ever seen. And
there's lots of those kind of like erotic, air quotes, things that are like fairly cringy.
When he's shaving, like, and she licks the blood off of his face when she cuts him when he's shaving, like that part. So that's another.
Or when he dresses like the pig and she's pretending to look for the pig.
Yeah. That's probably the ultimate cringe.
And then when she's doing like her horrible dancing, her sexy
cringe.
Dancing, like with all the candles, like there's lots of like cringy, and it's all supposed to be very like this confrontational, like we were crazy, we were doing all this amazing sexual stuff, and it's just kind of like, actually this is kind of retarded.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Regarding the what I was saying before, like after sort of that all gets exhausted, then he starts to get more hostile. He starts to lash out at her. He starts to be kind of cruel to her, and that's kind of when the movie.
Well, you gotta say that, like, after he gets bored with her sexually, he's like, all right, we're breaking up, and she keeps coming back, and she's like, no, please, I'll do whatever you want, just don't break up with me. And so then a light goes on in Peter Coyote. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna, I don't want anything to do with her, but if I can actually like abuse someone and treat them like fucking shit, that's going to be great. What a great situation. So he brings her back in, and now there's a power shift where suddenly he's in charge, and she literally is subjecting herself to the worst humiliations and abuse for the next 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, but I mean, even before that, like you start to see, like, I said before, like, when she was reading his novel and he started to be like, well, why even read the goddamn thing? Like, that's where you start to see sort of just like a little reveal of sort of his like potential for cruelty. But then she's still giving it back. Like when they're arguing, like you just said, like, why isn't your French better? Why isn't your English better? Why don't you? That's why, like that sort of back and forth, that's still there at that point, right? When the cracks start to show. But it isn't until after they break up and she comes back, and at that point she is not fighting back anymore. He's purely just humiliating her and treating her like shit, and she takes it all. She never fights back. Even before that, like, and I feel just compelled to make this small point that, like, so for like, and even like it's clever too from Mr. Polanski's to tip my hat to him. Like, it's clever to kind of mirror that scene, like the milk scene. Like, he, a little while ago, he thought it was the hottest thing in the world that she was drinking directly out of the bottle. Then later on, she's drinking out of the bottle, and he's like, why do you get to fucking drink out of the bottle? And that's actually the scene where they have that fight. That's where they have that scene where they fight about their fucking, like, oh, you don't speak English, like, how come you don't speak French all that well, you know, like, you've been here for that long. Well, fuck you, hey, your writing sucks, you know, and but this is the, you know, she really starts to take some serious jabs at him, and this turns into a fight, like a physical fight. He drags her into the living room and smacks her around, and you know, fattens her lip up a bit, and that's the moment where we sort of see him say, yeah, we should end this. This is, you know, this is getting ugly, and this is probably not going to work. He probably feels, I mean, as anyone would, you know, guilty about smacking around this girl. And then there's also that part too, which I believe happens earlier, where they go to the bar and she gets jealous because he's sort of flirting with her old roommate.
Oh, right. And so she dances with a completely homosexual black man.
Yeah. Right.
And I even thought it was funny when, like, much later on, when the tables are turned again, like after he's in the wheelchair and now he's subject to her whims, and she's like having sex in front of him. Like when she's dancing in the apartment with the black guy, she has to make sure, she has to say this guy, even though he's like a hot black dancer, he's not gay. Like, I just want to make that clear. This man is not gay. He's totally heterosexual. Like, so she had to sort of like flag that so everyone in the audience knows that, because we know what you're thinking, but he's not.
Right, exactly. We probably, the actor is actually, I mean, the actor is definitely gay, but it's just
he's gay as night.
he's as
gay as the night.
Gay as a $3 bill. or no, queer as a $3 bill, I think is the
queer as folk, as they say.
Yeah. So then, okay. So, so there's that part, and that's the first instance where she kind of comes back and she says, I'll do anything you want. Please just don't leave me, you know? And I mean, I can't remember what happens first. I think probably that happens first. I think hitting her is the moment where, where he makes the decision, okay, we gotta end this. And then she says, and then finally we're at the point that you were mentioning before, saying where, you know, she says, you can do whatever you want, you can take other women, I don't care, just don't leave me. And and that really is like a, you know, that is something that you can only, that kind of, those words are words that, like,
and I just want to say too that I was watching the movie with Susie, and she was like, I don't, like, when that woman was coming back to Peter Coyote, she was just kind of like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why she's putting herself into this situation. There's nothing really appealing about Peter Coyote. He's old. He looks old. He doesn't have anything going on. Mm-hmm. Why put yourself in this? And he's not like a nice guy. Like, why put yourself through this horrible situation for this guy? There's nothing. He doesn't have any riz. Well, I mean,
I don't know, man. Like, all I can tell you is that when women are young, or even when men are young, like when you feel, you know, like when you don't have like a lot of experience with, like, not so much sexual experience, but when you haven't like fallen in love before, or like it can be pretty, it can fuck with your head, and you put yourself through all sorts of, like, haven't you had that before? Like when you were younger, like, just like having a, like there's this horrible toxic relationship you're in, but like you just can't stop. Like, I mean, when you're older, of course it makes sense.
No, I get it, but I mean, this particular relationship, this is pretty fucking toxic. Like, it is super toxic. And, you know, I do get that to some degree. But I guess here it was sort of like the balance seemed to be. It would be like if Channing Tatum was sort of like sleeping outside of Roseanne Barr's door and being like, "Please take me back." Like,
well, it's not quite. It's not quite like that. I mean,
it's like that level. It's that level of inequality.
I don't know. I think that Peter Coyote was like a very handsome man back in his day. I think
maybe when he was 20, he was probably really in the 60s. He was probably pretty hot.
Yeah. He was fucking.
Let's just say there's a reason why he just does voice work on Ken Burns docs now.
He was marching against the war in Vietnam. He was a real piece of ass. But I was going to say that I think the better comparison would be like more like Channing Tatum and then like an old Sybil Danning or something.
Oh, no way.
You love Sybil Danning so much. I knew that was going to get.
That's far fetched. It's like Channing Tatum and
it's not Roseanne Barr.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay, I'll agree to that. Sure, fuck. I used to be sexually attracted to Whoopi Goldberg circa Sister Act era.
See,
Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Yes.
Okay, so I get it, and I remember I watched this movie a few times. I think I've seen this movie 3 times.
Nice.
One because I wanted to because it was honestly because it kind of made I was thinking this movie was like really great because it kind of made me the whole thing, like I kind of liked movies again because of this movie, to be honest. And so I was thinking it was really great. I was like, oh, this is a great movie. So I showed it to some people that came over, and like the same reaction, the girl who was over here was like, like have some fucking self-respect, it was like she was like screaming at the screen, and I was like, yeah, fuck, that's valid. That's a valid point. But at the same time, like I can understand, like, fuck, I don't know. I mean, they don't go into it, but like, girls are weird. Like maybe her fucking, maybe her father fingered her or something. And then,
but I mean, this is the point of the movie, sort of like to have this kind of, it's an examination of this like really extreme toxic power imbalance. Like, cause first she wants to come back and he's like, okay, you can come back, but I'm just going to treat you like a piece of shit. And he really enjoys it. He indulges in treating her like shit. He's fucking in front of her. He's the scene with where they're at that party and she's got like this bizarre like haircut.
Gray
she's
haircut.
Like, oh, you look like the dog.
Yeah. It's so mean.
Or I mean, like the meanest thing is like when he's like, oh, let's go on a trip, and he tricks her into going on an airplane on a trip, and then he at the last minute he pretends that like he's sick so he can get off the plane, and so she's like, I don't know where she's going, to Fiji or something, and so she's like flying to. He just kind of like leaves her on a plane flying to Fiji by herself with her stupid haircut, which is clearly like some kind of weird Halloween wig she's wearing, and he's sort of like got rid of her. it was almost like comic, like it was just like, really, you had to go to that extreme to get this lady out of your life.
Let's not forget before the trip, she gets pregnant and he essentially pushes her into getting an abortion.
Right.
But that probably would have, if you gave her a kid and then,
I feel like in the book he probably punched her in the stomach.
Yeah.
He did. Polanski goes probably like, that's too much. It's too far.
Yeah, Polanski has too much respect for women.
Yeah.
I was going to say
But then, like, so once he gets in an accident and breaks his leg, and then she comes and visits him in the hospital, having come back from that trip to wherever she went, Fiji or something, and then he's like, leave me the fuck alone, and she like throws him out of the bed and causes him to be now paralyzed from the waist down, and now somehow she's able to finagle it so now she's his caretaker. And so now like, the power is shifted again to her, and now she's going to treat him like shit, just like he treated her like shit.
I'm trying to find, do you recall, like, because it becomes clear that like she can't have children anymore. Like she becomes barren. And is that something that happens in Fiji, if it's Fiji, or is it something that happened because of the abortion that he forced her to get?
I can't remember. Maybe I'm going to say the abortion.
Yeah, like it
I'm not
pierced
100%.
her uterus wall, or is that The Sopranos? Is that fucking Adriana's fate in The Sopranos?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember.
Well, because it does make a difference. Like if she suffered something that made her infertile.
Either way, it's his fault.
Well, I mean, if she was in Fiji and then she ended up catching some virus that caused her to, not be able to have babies anymore. That's like,
No.
I guess technically it's his fault, but it's pretty indirect. Whereas like forcing her to get an abortion.
He was the one who tricked her into going to this place where now she's got the dead baby virus.
The dead baby virus.
The barren uterus virus.
Yeah. Damn it. Where the hell? Hold on. Where she was recovering from her. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page, just trying to get some clarity on this motherfucking abortion thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards that it happened. Like if I were fucking writing it, I would say that something happened during the abortion.
Right.
Know?
That's what I feel. That's what I feel like it was.
So then now we're getting into sort of the, now the power's all on her side, and there's all these scenes where like she has to give him injections, and she's very willy-nilly about being sanitary. Like
he's like pissing himself.
Yeah, she's leaving all night, and then he's
and like going back to your mirroring, like at the beginning of the story, how like piss was so much part of the whole sexual fun and excitement, and now pissing is pathetic,
right,
and disgusting,
right, yeah. What else is going on? There's that part where they go to the park, and then he like a little boy comes up to Peter Coyote in a wheelchair, and he's kind of like, yeah, we should have had, maybe we should have had that kid after all, and that's actually the moment I believe where she reveals to him that she can't because of reasons that we're not entirely clear on,
but reasons that are probably his fault.
His fault, yeah. Then there's that part where she like is bathing him, and she just like lets the water get cold while she goes and talks on the phone.
Oh yeah, and then he has to crawl across the floor.
Yeah, and then what's so funny? Like he
did have a sweet ass though.
That was a nice fucking puckered ass. I'll say
that's from doing all those Vietnam marches.
Right. Yeah. Back during his
back
hot
in the
years.
60s.
Right. Kept that. I'll tell you one thing. He kept his fucking 20-year-old ass.
Yeah. The ass should have been the star of the movie.
That's right. That's funny. He could just do the whole movie like fucking how Jim Carrey talked out of his ass and whatever that movie's called, Pet Detective.
Ace Ventura.
And yeah. So then this is funny because this is sort of Peter Coyote's self-described rock bottom moment, the moment where Mimi invites over a black man and then she has sex with him.
It's kind of gay black man.
Yeah, and it's like
who isn't gay?
And then she did the unthinkable, and then she did the absolute unthinkable. She had sex with a black guy, and then
a gay black guy,
right? And then from that point on, it's just we're back on the cruise ship. Then I think it's New Year's Eve,
but also the other weird thing is when she gives him the birthday gift of a loaded gun.
Oh, right.
And then it's sort of like, the message of that is somewhat unclear because it's kind of like, well, I'm assuming that she's giving him the gun so he would kill himself, but he could also shoot her with it, which is very, very possible. Just based on the way she's been treating him and how his life has ended up. And then, spoiler alert, that's actually what he winds up doing. But much, much later on the cruise. But it was an odd moment.
I don't know. I think that the birthday gift is at its heart, her giving him a little bit of power back, See,
I didn't see that as like power. I saw this as you have two choices. You could either kill yourself or continue to endure this misery that I'm going to inflict on you for the rest of your life.
I think to kill the choice to kill yourself is power. Or hey, you know what? Maybe you could shoot me if you're going to be that bold. If you think you can live without me, I don't get the sense that she thought it through. That he's going to shoot me. I don't know. I think that she's pretty like sadistically clever at this point. I think that this is just sort of this is another little piece of her game. I don't think she really gives a shit. Like after the fact is revealed that she can't have kids, I don't think she really gives a fuck if she. So you think that she's like, if he kills us both, good. Who cares? I don't. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. If you think you're cool, it's a dare essentially. It's kind of she's daring him, it's fair. Here's a gun. Why don't you shoot me with it if you think you can live without me, or shoot yourself? It's essentially, it's a little slice. It's a little slice of power, but it's given like mockingly. Here's a little bit of power, but like how are you going to use it anyways? The best thing you could do to improve your situation probably is just killing yourself. I don't know. That's the way I see it. I think it's kind of it's like a cruel joke. It's an irony or something.
No, I mean I get that aspect of it, but I'm just wondering is she aware of the fact that he can also shoot her? Like, is she open to that prospect? That's not 100% clear.
So. Okay, so anyways, yeah, like then there's New Year's Eve, and what this ultimately sort of turns into is Hugh Grant's
New Year's
wife
Eve on the boat.
On the boat, yeah. So we're back on the boat. Like the fucking flashback is over now, and now we're just in regular.
And
time.
Also at this point, Hugh Grant is completely in love with this woman. He probably spent the total of 5 minutes with her. He's now just totally in love with her. He's ready to leave Kristen Scott Thomas and run away with Mrs. Polanski.
Right. Well, he says he is. That's what he says he is. She says, "You're not in love with me. I'm just a fucking amusement on a boring cruise," which is probably more the truth, you know.
Sure.
But anyways, then there's she ends up, Roman Polanski's wife ends up dancing with Hugh Grant's wife, and then they end up having sex with each other, and then,
which is completely like out of left field. Just sort of like these two women start dancing, and the next thing you know, they're having sex with Peter Coyote and Hugh Grant observing.
Well, just Peter Coyote observing, and then Hugh Grant coming in and just sort of watching them sleeping together. And then Hugh Grant gets all angry and he tries to choke Peter Coyote. Peter Coyote pulls out his handgun.
His birthday present.
And then he ends up shooting Emmanuel Mrs. Polanski, and then shooting himself in the head, and then that's the end of the movie.
That was cool. And then somehow I think Hugh Grant and his wife find some sort of meaning in their own relationship. Maybe.
Yeah.
They seem maybe to be they seem to get back together fairly. The relationship doesn't seem to be rocked by anything that just happened. They just kind of go back to what they were doing.
I would try to sort of turn that into a later threesome for me, if that happened.
A later what?
A threesome, like a menage a trois.
Got it.
Like I'd be like, oh, hey, you like having sex with girls? Cool. Let me get in on that too. And then you also have it. You kind of have it hanging over her because you're like, you cheated on me, so I could go. It's a win-win situation, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And if you look at your relationship as transactional, then you can just be like, well, now you owe me, So it's either I go fuck another girl or you involve me in some sort of threesome.
Huh.
Or else we're through, baby.
It's relationship math.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, that's it. So Bitter Moon. Shall we dust off our old eggplant?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, I thought it was a little wacky and a little over the top, but I was carried along. It's a little longer than it should be, but I was entertained. So I'm just gonna say three eggplants.
I'm going to give it more. I'm going to say 3.5 because
I think you should give it 5 because it reignited your love of cinema.
Well, I don't know about.
I'm gonna be presumptuous and give your rating for you.
Okay, go ahead.
5.5 eggplants.
What am I going to do? Am I going to resist that? Of course not. So it's a 3 from Johnny and a 5 from your friend Rob Jabaz here. Official rating. So that's it. We just talked about Bitter Moon. I think that this is, like, what do you like? I'm not a huge Roman Polanski fan. Although Rosemary's Baby, I would say, is my favorite horror movie. Like, I just feel it's like the best constructed and shit.
I like him in general. I think Rosemary's Baby is amazing. I do like The Tenant. I know you don't like it.
I cannot stand it. It's just.
I like
anyways,
it.
Go on.
I liked Vampire Killers. Ninth Gate was okay. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Chinatown's pretty good.
Oh, Chinatown's really great, actually. And
Repulsion's terrific. I'm sure there's.
You haven't seen Frantic.
Never saw Frantic. He's fairly reliable, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
I've ever seen anything that he's done that I was like, ugh, fucking, just brutal, awful.
Yeah, I felt that way.
Pianist. I like The Pianist.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah, but I really didn't like The Tenant. But yeah, there's enough good. You still watch The Tenant and you see you do still see like a very strong vision. I just found like that it's
Vampire Killers is good.
yeah. I just found that the Tenant just like, it just doesn't resolve in any kind of satisfying way, and and sometimes that can be good, but in that case, I just felt like I wasted my time. But okay, so all of this to say, I think that Death in a what's it called? Death in a Maiden? Is that what it's called? With Sigourney Weaver and Ben Kingsley.
I never saw that one.
I think that one's actually pretty good for a smaller movie, like essentially like a stage play that just a one location kind of film. That one I think is pretty good.
Okay.
And then Death and a Maiden, is that what it's called? I think
it's Death and the Maiden.
Death and the Maiden. Okay, that one, yeah.
Iron Maiden.
But Iron Maiden. But yeah, okay. So Bitter Moon, I think, is sort of the best of sort of like the later stage.
90s Polanski.
Yeah. Like. Do you like it more than The Ninth Gate, Bitter Moon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
maybe it's been a while since I saw Ninth Gate.
Right.
I do remember liking Ninth Gate, but this one might be more. Bitter Moon might be more. Like I felt more engaged.
Yeah, it's
with
more
what
fun.
was going on. It was more fun.
Right.
Even if I'm enjoying it for the wrong reasons, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't make that distinction anymore. If I like it, doesn't matter why. Like even if it was intended, I'm just happy that I'm feeling good. So that's it. Time for you to go do whatever you have to do. Send me the file, and we'll try to get one of these out sooner than later next time. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.